It's been a very eventful day already. A lot from the airport and, of course, where we are currently, with Omoyele Sowore. Let me just, of course, get into the interview straight. Omoyele Sowore, great to be back home, I believe.
Yes. Well, I'm back home, but it was because when I left in March and also in May, I did make a promise that I'll be back, that I'm not going anywhere from Nigeria. So it doesn't matter what anybody tries to do, and that is why when I was informed and I got a copy of their memo to the airport that I was declared wanted, it just made me feel very proud that I was once again upgraded by the Nigerian government. I've been on the watch list of Nigerian government since I was in the university in 1992. But I found out officially that I've been upgraded to the highest possible level. So,
what do you mean by upgraded?
Well, so they have different grades. There are people who they watch, just generally, if you are leaving the country, they just try to figure out where you're going. But the level that I'm on is a level in which whenever I arrive, I'm supposed to be accompanied, arrested, and detained, and taken to the office of the DG of DSS. That's the level that I am. I think it's the highest level. It's like the GCON of, or the GCFR of the National Award for Troublemakers.
So what happened this morning? Because we saw all of the drama that unfolded at the airport. We saw security forces trying to sort of whisk you away, and at some point it looked like they let you go.
Yes, when I arrived, they seized my passport. The immigration guy seized my passport when I presented my passport for processing. And then after standing around for a while, I asked them, what's the problem? They said there is some notation on my passport that that needs clarification from Abuja. And I said, who is that? Who put of course I knew. And they said they're going to start making all kinds of calls. And then they asked me to sit down at the place. I sat down beside them. After a while, I went back to them and asked, what's going on? And it's been like 30 minutes at this point. And they said they're still waiting for Abuja to clarify. Then they took me to their office where I was briefly detained. And then I tweeted before going into that office, and some 10 minutes later they came and said, oh, it's just been resolved. You can go. So I went to try and get my bag. Of course, one of my bag was missing. I hope it's not the DSS that stole it. But
you said one of your bag was missing.
Yes.
Is it still missing, or have you?
Missing, but I've incidented with the airline to look for it, because the tracking on my phone from the airline shows that the bag arrived. So, but like I said, I don't want to. I hope they didn't try to do something stupid with my bag, because they might go and plant some things inside of my bag and claim I brought drugs into the country. I don't do drugs.
All right. Now, let's talk about the reason why you are on the watch list. A lot of people have asked, what does this reflect of democracy?
Well, it's a reminder to those of us who fought for democracy that what we fought for has not come to happen in reality. And we just have to keep fighting until we get what is desirous. And I don't know, even if the democracy as we know it now, globally, is even desirous anymore, because it's been hijacked everywhere, including from the source. They no longer even do credible elections in the U.S. anymore. It's just crazy. But what is known to us as our own way of interacting and accepting governance is democracy in this country. And that's the basis of our engagement and interaction with governance. So that's what we continue to fight for. But I'm not surprised, but even though I feel sad that in 2024, people are still being hounded. Protesters have been arraigned and prosecuted for treason, in which they ridiculously wrote in the charge sheet that they were trying to overthrow the government with placards. And these guys are still in detention. Even when they're granted bail, the judges granted bail, given conditions that they know the protesters cannot meet. And over 2,000 protesters were aware.
Hello,
Some
Bademola.
protesters were
I beg,
detained
call
for
madam. I dey read news for
60 days without trial by judges, federal judges. So these are part of the reason we must take our country back. And it's the reason I can never, and I'm saying it, I'm not bragging, I'm not running away from anybody. It is either we get it right, or we all perish. When I mean perish, if we don't do anything about the situation of our country, we are all going to perish. These people are going to just finish everybody.
I mean, let's talk about the circumstances which you were picked up. Are you harassed?
No, I wasn't harassed. It's difficult to harass me. I'm immune to harassment. So I'm very calm in the face of provocation. But in fairness to them, there was nothing like that. I'm talking about the immigration people. But you remember that the immigration DG, or this CG of immigration, had said this during the August uprising, that they have some people on watch list. So I think this is our list. She was disgraced today.
All right. Now, this freedom that you have now, I mean, is it temporary?
I don't care. Whatever happens, it's my attitude to life is "Que sera, sera." Whatever will be, will be. But the most important thing is that we get the appropriate freedom, qualitative freedom for our people. When I was about to start my journey, I sent some messages saying that was after it was revealed to me that my name was on the watch list. That we have a country to save, and we cannot be deterred by all these distractions. These are distractions by those in government. And they know it. They are running out of time. And that's why they are very desperate. Interestingly and coincidentally, the president is supposed to return today. So, but you know which one is more eventful? The real president came and the whole country knew. When he comes in now, nobody will know. But that's on the lighter side. We must get our people to move very quickly to save this country, to save themselves from the destructive attributes of these people in political power. Because a lot of people cannot believe that a Bola Tinubu, who was accused in 1994, falsely by the military, of trying to bomb a Jigbo depot, is also doing the same thing to protesters. He was accused by Abacha. That's the reason he left the country. But contrary to their own decision to leave, I am not leaving. But I will continue to maintain my right to travel freely whether you put me on watch lists or down lists or clean lists, whichever list you want to put me on, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we must save this country and we must liberate ourselves. We have people to liberate, and that's our focus right now.
All right. Now, talking about liberation, I know you've been very vocal as to the protesters being detained, the end bad governance protesters being detained at the moment, the likes of Michael Lenin and the rest. I'd like you to speak on that.
Well, part of what I'll do now that I'm here is to work to ensure that they're released. From Kano to Kaduna, Michael Lenin, and whomever. We found out that a professor at Bayes University was also abducted by the DSS, and he's been in detention all this while. So we're going to put a lot of pressure to get everybody free so that we can prepare very quickly for Fearless in October. Yeah, so we will need all the protesters to be back on the street as soon as possible. Yeah, so that's a must. But if you don't get them out, well, they might end up joining them there pretty soon.
Let's talk about Fearless in October. What's going down?
When it happens, you find out. You remember? Yes. You remember when we were planning the August thing, the end bad governance in August? Most of you, even in the media, did not know it would happen. It happened, and it happened in a way that surprised everybody. So let's just wait and see what happens in October. And I want to use this opportunity to say it very clearly. If you are feeling the burden and the yoke of bad governance, you don't have to wait till October 1. If you are organized enough, strong enough, it's not anybody's father's property. It's not a copyright to Sowore or Take It Back movement. Everybody that is suffering, you can You can revolt at any time you want, any day, night, afternoon. So you don't have to wait for us. But we organize, and our own organizations collectively are looking at October 1 as a starting point.
All right. Thank you so much, Omoyele Sowore.
And I wanted to remind you, the last time you interviewed me, you said, "Oh, Sowore, you're talking from outside the country." Now,
Okay, now we are seeing physically.